Hey, welcome here to Cairns, Australia. I'm going to be doing a cargo flight from Australia up to Papua New Guinea. It's a 3-hour flight, about 600 nautical miles, I think. I'll check later. But I've got about 650 kgs of cargo for missionaries that I've ordered that I'm taking back up there. I'm on the GA side right now. We're going to be going over to the international side here in a few minutes to be loading up to get the cargo. So I'm going to be fueling up over here, taxiing over there, and then loading up over there. So let's get the plane ready. And the fuel guy should be over here any minute. I gotta climb up on the wings though to dip to get my actual accurate fuel because I'm over 1,000 pounds right now. So for the right side, I had 515 and I had 615 on the left side. And if we head over here to my flight plan, I want to leave here at 1,280 pounds, which gets me into Port Moresby with 430 pounds. I've already checked the weather. The weather's going to be good. The winds are going to be good, maybe favorable, maybe 2 knots of tailwind at most, really not that much. But that should be fine for my VFR, so I can actually get 672 kgs out of here. So it's so close. What I think I'm just going to do is just put all 87 on the right side to bring it up even. Okay, I've got this full, 130, 125, and the rest of it up here with maybe just a little bit, I don't know, maybe 50 kgs back here. So we'll do the weight and balance once we get going. All right, thank you for your help. I'll see you probably next year. All right, well, we ended up with 1250, unfortunately, because I had to taxi over here and it took me forever. Cairns delivery for Papua 2, November Tango Zulu, requesting clearance Moresby.
Papua 2, November Tango Zulu, Cairns delivery, cleared to Port Moresby by PUPEP planned route. Cairns 2 departure, climb by SID 6000, score 1044, departure frequency 118.4.
Cleared to Moresby via PUPEP, then flight plan route, Cairns 2 departure, climb via the SID 6000, squawk 1044, on departure contact approach 118.4, Papua Tango Zulu. Okay, transponder, code 1044. Let's go ahead and start. Above 24, low start. Let that NG stabilize before introducing our fuel. There we go, over 21. Watching my NG as it comes up past 35, then watching the ITT as it peaks out at 640. Well, my departure time is 9, and it is 8:56 now, so I'm actually doing fairly well considering Border Force could not find my paperwork today. It got missed. I sent it in a couple of weeks ago, but that's all right. Okay, I've got 1,250 on my fuel, which means I'll be landing in Moresby with 400 pounds. That's fine. I've got 686 as a max load. I've only got 650 on here right now. I've got 130 in here, 125 here. I'm guessing probably around 50. Actually, I've got 670 because I have a little bit of my own bags. And that leaves me with 381. So 670 minus 381 is 289. So let's say 290 divided by 2 is 145 in each one of these sections, more or less. Up to 17,000, but initially we're only going up to 6,000 because that's what via the SID meant. And we are more or less full up, so 75 and 63 for rotate today. We need to get the weather now.
Cairns terminal information, Oscar. Expect instrument approach runway 15. Wind 140 degrees 10 knots. Visibility greater than 10 kilometers. Cloud. Scattered 2,200 feet. Temperature 29 QNH 1015.
Switch over to our taxi. Cairns Ground Papua 2 November Tango Zulu requesting taxi with information Oscar. Currently Bay 1 Bravo.
Papua 2 November Tango Zulu, taxi by Charlie 1 holding point Bravo 2.
Charlie 1 to holding point Bravo 2, Papua Tango Zulu.
Papua Tango Zulu, is Bravo 2 intersection departure suitable?
I'm sorry, say again?
Is the intersection departure of Bravo 2 suitable for your operation?
Affirmative. Cairns Ground, morning, just 9:31, Bay 20, request push.
That's a 9:31 ground pushback approved tail more far enough north to allow company on Deer Bay.
Better push tail north, far enough north to get the company on, just 9:31. Well, hopefully there's not too many airplanes coming in. I don't want to just...
Papua Tango Zulu, connect down now 124.9er.
Over to tower, Papua Tango Zulu. Alright, 124.9er for tower, I believe. Yep, it is. And then 118.4 for...
Skytrans 35, line up and wait.
Line up and wait, Skytrans 35. Okay, well, while we're just sitting here for a second, let's go over here to departure, Cairns 2 departure, so you guys can see the departure I'm going to be doing here. Basically, a couple of notes that we want to make or be aware of is at the earlier of 400 feet or a specific spot, turn left. The heading of something to something. I'm guessing 030 because that's what I always get. So basically by the end of the runway, or 400 feet, whichever comes first, then I'll make my left-hand turn. And then it also says down here, a minimum bank of 25 degrees. Really the biggest thing this Cairns 2 departure is for is because the city of Cairns is down there, and it's right in line with like all these big, heavy loud jets taking off, and they want them to turn, not be flying directly over top of the city making all this kind of noise. So that's really what this whole thing is for, but anyway, we'll be making a left-hand turn, climbing up to 6,000 initially. We've got our QNH 1015 on our secondary as well. Tower Papua 2, November Tango Zulu, holding point Bravo 2, ready.
Papua 2, November Tango Zulu, Cairns Tower, line up.
Line up, Papua Tango Zulu. Alright, ignition lights. And that is done. We need to do a governor check on takeoff, and then we're ready to go.
Papua 2, November Tango Zulu, assigned heading left, 030, cleared for takeoff.
Sign 030 left, clear for takeoff, Papua Tango Zulu. All right, there's a rotate, 63.
Juliet Echo Kilo, half a mile to the Class Charlie boundary, control service terminated.
Juliet Echo Kilo, good day.
Charlie Zulu Alpha, clear touch and go, make right circuit.
They're busy today. Clear touch and go, make right circuit, Charlie Zulu Alpha.
Traffic side is Delta Victor.
Delta Victor Sierra, track number 2 to the 172.
All right, there's 400.
00 knots, cleared visual approach.
Track number 2 to the 172 and clear visual approach, Delta Victor.
Get our turn, going to 030. Pitch on over so we can get rid of our flaps and get on a regular climb. .85, coming up to 030. There we go. Once I get my last flaps out and over 100, then we'll put it on the autopilot just so I'm not getting off track from where I want to be. There we go. Let's do heading mode and trim it on out. We got lots of planes coming and going here in Cairns, much busier than Papua New Guinea, that's for sure. Like I said, I waited like 20 minutes just to cross the runway earlier this morning and used up a lot of fuel that I didn't want to use up. All right, well, let's do inlet igniters. We'll leave our landing light and our pulse light on for the time being until we just get a little bit further away.
Papua 2, November Tango Zulu, contact approach, good day.
Contact approach, Papua Tango Zulu.
35, turn left, heading 360.
Left heading 360, Scott Trans 35.
Gans approach for Papua 2, November Tango Zulu on assigned heading 030, passing 2000 on climb, 6000 via the SID.
Papua 2, November Tango Zulu, Cairns approach. G'day, identified. Climb by SID to 4000, just stand by for high.
Via the SID 4000, Papua Tango Zulu. Vertical speed and altitude select, so I do not go past
Trans 35, turn left, heading 280.
Heading 280, Scott Trans 35.
Papua 2, November Tango Zulu, resume navigation. Clear direct to Pupeb, climb to flight level 170.
Clear direct Pupeb, climb flight level 170, Papua Tango Zulu. Up to 17,000. Let's go flight plan and go direct to Pupeb. A little bit of a left-hand turn.
Papua 2, November Tango Zulu, is that Ryan?
Yes, it is. How are you today?
I'm good, mate, how are you?
Excellent.
You filming this one?
Yeah, actually I am.
Awesome, hopefully I can hear my voice.
Yep, you'll be on there.
Awesome, mate, good to see you.
All right, up to 17,000. I'm going to go ahead and turn off this one here and just do our nav GPS steer. And that way I can pitch for my best climb, because this airplane, Zulu, does not perform as well as Echo and Kilo. My climb performance is going to really be slow, I think, today. So, also you guys can see here, there's a transition level. Here we go, at the top. Transition altitude is at 10,000 feet. So that's where we're going to go into like the flight levels here in Australia. Rather than 18,000 in the States, it's a little bit different. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go ahead and hit, if I can remember, PDF standard baro, so I don't forget, so that way when I actually get to 17,000, I'll already be on the standard baro. And we're going to go ahead and pitch all the way up to probably 9 to 11 degrees on the attitude indicator initially. That will get us down to 100 knots and get us on our quickest climb that we can. Okay, actually, if we head over here on flight plan, it is 453 nautical miles. So I was wrong. I thought it was 600, but it's not quite that far. But it takes about 3 hours on average to do it. A nice tailwind of 21 knots here. That is awesome. I think I'm going to lose it all, though, once I get up to 17,000. It'll probably be like 2 or 3 knots. Well, here we are, leveled at 17,000 feet, barely putzing along at 154 knots true airspeed, and only 115 knots indicated. I'm already on with Brisbane Center, but they basically just keep handing me off to a different frequency that probably has a little bit better range the further out you get. So I'll probably be talking to the same person. I'm coming up to Pupeb. They'll switch me over at Pupeb, and I need to give them my estimate for COPSO, my altitude, and then I'll just say, well, so what I'm squawking, and they'll give me the onwards clearance to basically transition out of like the airspace of Australia into like this kind of weird no man's land that nobody, I can't really talk to anybody because I can't really get a hold of anybody for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then I switch over to Port Moresby and start talking to them all the way.
Papa 2 November Tango Zulu at Pupeb, control services terminated, contact center 121.3.
At Pupeb 121.3, Papa Tango Zulu.
Will you say hi to YouTube for me?
Will do. If you're wondering what this is, it's an extra shirt that I have for loading the airplane. It is so humid out, and you just sweat buckets. And then to get into a cold airplane, it's 2 degrees Celsius outside, you're just freezing and just gross feeling the whole way. So I bring an extra shirt to change into after loading. Brisbane Center, Papua 2, November Tango Zulu, Pupeb this time, maintaining flight level 170, estimating COPSO 10.
Papua 2, November Tango Zulu, sending good morning.
So here in a little bit, they are going to give me my onwards clearance over to Moresby. Basically, before I get up to COPSO, that's where I'm going to switch over to Port Moresby. So somewhere along the way, probably, I mean, this is going to take me, let's see, an hour to get to COPSO. So probably in about 45 minutes before I get out of their range. They might hand me off a couple of more times to, well, actually, no, this is 121.3. That's the furthest one out. So I'll probably stay with these guys next for the next 45 minutes, and then they'll switch me over. But like I've mentioned in other one of my videos, you know, doing these international flights, if you're wondering what does it take to do an international flight, well, there's a couple different things. One, I'm wearing a life vest here because I'm going 50 nautical miles outside of the coastline, as well as I have a 4-man raft right here. In my vest, I've got an EPIRB, portable electronic beacon. I've got a big long lanyard, kind of the streamer that goes out in the water. On this side, I've got pouches of water. I've got a seatbelt cutter, and I have a mirror that I can use for shining the light up at rescue airplanes. Underneath this is just one of those yellow vests. You pull the tabs, comes out, has a light, has little straws you can blow it back up with. Hopefully I'll never have to use it all. And then I also have an air tank, which I forgot to reconnect to my vest, but I usually have it on this side over here with about 2 minutes of air in it. I don't keep my cargo, I keep it down so I can crawl through here if worst case scenario, if I had to crawl out the back. And if I were to go in the water, I'd be cracking both my doors, probably actually latching them open so that in case the fuselage were to bend, things like that, I could still get out the 2 front doors. So to get out of Australia, all I have to do is go over to customs, pick up my paperwork for my flight, and they basically check me out of there. That's all I have to do. I don't have to go through anybody else. Border Force is basically does all of like immigration and customs at the same time. So super easy getting out. I got my paperwork, I sent it to them a couple of weeks ago. They printed out, they couldn't find it this morning, but that's all right. They did find it eventually, printed it out, stamped my GenDecs, my general declarations. So when I get back to Port Moresby, that's what I'll give to customs, immigration, and quarantine. So I'll be going into 3 different places when I get back to the international here in Moresby.
2 November, Tango Zulu from Moresby, enter control airspace on track capsule, Atlantic, flight plan route to Moresby, enter at 17,000.
With Moresby via capsule, Atlantic, then flight plan route, enter 17,000 and add capsule 119.3 for Papa Tango Zulu.
2 November, Tango Zulu, and just confirming that flight plan route to Moresby.
From flight plan route to Moresby for Papa Tango Zulu. We're approaching Capso this time, but we're going to be switching over to Moresby now. So we're going to be switching off of standard Barrow because their transition level is 20,000, where Australia's was 10,000. So I will no longer be in the flight levels, I'll just be 17,000 once I get into Moresby's airspace. You can see all these magenta rings. That's when I actually go into their airspace. So if we come up here, it says it starts at 20,000, so I probably not actually getting in there until right here, but I'm still switching over at Capso. Moresby radar, Papua 2, November Tango Zulu.
Station calling radar again.
Papua 2, November Tango Zulu, Capso, this time maintaining 17,000, squawking 1044.
Papua 2, November Tango Zulu, Moresby radar, good day, identified.
Moresby radio, Papua 2, November Tango Zulu, requesting QNH.
Papua 2, November Tango Zulu, area QNH 1011.
1011. Jackson's radar, Papua 2, November Tango Zulu, passing 14,500 on descent 10,000, information India.
Papua 2, November Tango Zulu, Jackson's radar, good day. Can expect visual approach for right circuit, runway 14 right.
Expect visual for right circuit 14 right, Papua Tango Zulu. You can see I'm still 59 nautical miles out. Once I get up to 30 nautical miles, that's why she said expect it. Once I get to 30 nautical miles, then I can accept the visual approach, and I can see already the shoreline up there, so yeah, should be no problems at all. Which would be nice because I don't want to have to be all vectored around, just enter into a localizer, because that adds usually around like 8 to 10 minutes. Let's start with the buddy check. Our fuel selectors are good. Our pause is enabled. Our
Hotel, I'm at section QNH 1009 now. 1009, Alpha Number Hotel.
Our landing speed is going to be 69 knots today. Lights and inlet, let's get our lights on. We're above 5 degrees Celsius here, so we can flip off my pitot heats. And then we'll go on from there once we get closer in.
November Tango Zulu, descend 6,000.
Descend 6,000 for Tango Zulu. Alright, so she called me November Tango Zulu, which is what I'd be called in domestic flights, but because I'm on an international flight, I should be called Papua 2 November Tango Zulu, or Papua Tango Zulu. So you can shorten it kind of like in the States where if you have like a 5-digit, you can just say the last 3. Well, this is the first and then the last 2. I know, it's kind of confusing.
November Tango Zulu, descent 2,500, report when visual.
Good descent 2,500, I can accept the visual approach, Papua Tango Zulu. I did go through my weight balance again when I wasn't filming, and I noticed I had messed up down there. I did the weight balance kind of before I even got in the airplane and stuff like that, but head over here, what I had done wrong is I did not have all my loaded on here, at least on here, even though I had done it earlier to make sure that it was all good. But I had 130, 125, and then the rest of it was up here. So I'm actually at 672 here, and I should have confirmed that I had actually loaded, because I was like, oh wow, I had 90 left. That doesn't make sense, because I shouldn't have had 90 left. I was supposed to be maximum, and the 14 extra kgs is, well, 14 extra kgs of fuel that I burnt while just sitting there in taxi line. So anyway, I'm still within, but yeah, I did want to mention that as well. Well, she'll probably give me the visual approach right before she hands me off to tower at 10 miles. I'm at 16 right now, so that's what I'm waiting on next.
November Tango Zulu, current flight condition.
Visual, Papa Tango Zulu.
Papa Tango Zulu, thank you. Cleared visual approach, enter second right base, runway 14 right, and contact tower 118 decimal 1 at 10 DME. Good day, sir.
Clear for the visual, enter right base, 14 right, over to tower 10 miles. Good day, Papa Tango Zulu. I got 118.1 for tower, 10 nautical miles, another 3 miles, we'll switch over to tower. And I'm just going to do heading mode right now. Jackson Tower, Papua 2, November, Tango Zulu 10 miles. Track for a visual right base, 14 right.
Papua 2, November Tango Zulu, Jackson Tower, good day, runway 14 right, continue approach, report right base.
Again, right base for 14 right, Papua Tango Zulu. Got our inlet in now, we've already done that, prop and harness. Let's do a prop. Harness is complete. Flaps to go and landing clearance.
Papa 2 November Tango Zulu, runway 14 right, clear to land.
Clear to land 14 right, Papa Tango Zulu. Here we go, approaching pattern altitude 1,200 feet. Oh, the wind comes off the ocean, hits all these hills out here, and always makes it bumpy here. Always. All we have is flaps to go. There we are, beam the runway. Let's go 10 degrees of flaps. Turning base now, 20 degrees of flaps. At 69 on final. We'll have about a 10 knot headwind and about a 7 knot crosswind for landing as is. We'll shoot for the 500 foot marker because I want to get off on the first taxiway. Turning final, we are cleared to land. .69 on final, 11 knot crosswind. 500. Add a few knots to my approach speed just for the wind shear. 6 knot headwind, 12 knot crosswind. Alright, straighten her up. Really wish they would put taxiway identifiers at this international airport. Where are we at? Foxtrot. Jackson Ground, Papua 2, November Tango Zulu. Foxtrot for international overflow, please.
Papua 2, November Tango Zulu, ground, good day, continue taxi.
Continue taxi, Papua Tango Zulu. Well, if you enjoyed this change of flight, international flight, give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below on what you guys thought or if you had any questions. And see you next time, probably on a bush strip.